Hello everybody and welcome to the GKaiser Age. This is the GKaiser Age Gunpla Build Mechanics series. My name is Lucian G. Kaiser, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Bandai high-grade Gundam Build Divers Re Core Gundam G-3 colors, the Planet System Venus armor set, and the V2 support weapons that all combine to make the V2 Gundam. So, let's get started. GKaiser Age launching! Here we have the Core Gundam G3 color type from Gundam Build Divers Re, the latest Gundam animated series at the time of this video. I really enjoyed the first season and I am looking forward to season 2, but for now, on to the Core Gundam built and piloted by Hiroto Kuga. In my previous Gunpla Build Mechanics Earth 3 Gundam review, I went into great detail about the Core Gundam itself, and since this Core Gundam is pretty much the same aside from the color, check out that review linked below for more details about the Core Gundam. The Core Gundam in this kit is colored in the RX-78 Gundam Unit 3 colors, and even though in the anime the Core Gundam doesn't actually change into this color, I find it works better with the overall color scheme for the Venus armor and the V2 Gundam. It comes with the same core spray beam gun, the same core shield, and of course the core beam sabers, and the core beam Vulcans mounted on the head. It is identical in every way to the Core Gundam Real Type Colors version, with the same posability as well. It also comes with 2 different sizes of beam saber blades as well, but this time they are in a very nice emerald green, which I really appreciate the color change. While it does come with the core spray beam gun, it does not come with the parts for the full beam rifle, and it also does not come with the full shield parts either, that are only included with the Earth 3 Gundam. Now that we're done looking at the G3 Core Gundam, let's move on to the Planet System Support Flyer carrying the Venus armor. A very unique unit in the world of Gundam, the Planet System Support Flyer unit is used for carrying the different planet system armors, and this one is specifically designed for the Venus armor that is mounted on it, as you can see. The Planet System Support Flyer unit can be remotely controlled by Hiroto and can even be used to carry the Core Gundam into battle. This particular setup that you see here is a custom one I did myself. Normally the Core Gundam would be actually riding on the back, but I actually picked up a special little kit of support weapons and everything that I'll show an image of here that actually comes with these special adapters that you can use to kind of build a connection between the back of the Core Gundam and the Planet System Support Flyer. More details on that in a future video. The V2 armor isn't of course complete without the V2 weapon support system, a package of heavy weapons and hover engines for the Venus Planet System armor. The other weapons from this pack can be fired while mounted on the System Support Flyer, but because they are meant to be used by the V2 Gundam in combat, they are usually reserved for its use only. When carrying the Venus armor's big beam bazooka parts, the Planet System Support Flyer can fire a high intensity blast for long range fire support. Because the Planet System Support Flyer though is meant specifically to transport the planet's armors into battle, its power supply is limited, so it will fire a few shots then to deploy the armor that Hiroto needs. It comes with the stand that you see here, but it can be mounted on various Bandai display stands, which allows for some dynamic poses, as you can see with the pictures here. Now, it's time to unleash the true firepower of this Gunpla. Go Core Docking! Core Gundam G3 to V2 Gundam. Here we have the V2 Gundam, combination of the Core Gundam G-3, the Venus Planet System support armor, and the V2 support weapons backpack. I have always had an affinity for heavy weapon fires support mobile suits with loads of weapons, and the V2 Gundam has become one of my new favorites. I should mention that you do have to purchase the support weapons backpack separately, but the price of the Gundam and the support weapons are low enough that you can get both together for around $20 to $25, which is still a very good price for a high-grade Gunpla, especially one where you get so many options and so many weapons with it. Also, the support weapons pack has adapter pieces included with it, so you can mount it on other Gunpla, and we will see the same on the other support weapon packs for the other planet systems armors. I love the details on this Gunpla. For a high grade, it has a good amount of detail, panel lining, and just feels very solid. Though the shoulder armors still are a little loose, but not as bad as the Earth 3 Gundam, I find. Standing now at a full 19 meters in the show, taller than the 18.7 meters of the Earth 3 Gundam, the V2 Gundam is an imposing sight, and the Gunpla of it is perfectly sized, as you can see here, with it standing next to the Earth 3 Gundam. And then for further comparisons, here we have it standing with the high-grade GM, and then the real grade Gundam Mark II. Man, they look great together. I absolutely love the look of them. I like the shade of green that is used for the armor, and I feel there's a good balance with the white parts and the other colors, especially the G3 Core Gundam coloring. The decals that you see on my V2 Gundam are not ones that actually come with it. I like to actually save decals from real grade, high grade, and master grade kits to use on high grade kits that don't come with any or very few. I love it because it makes my Gunpla feel more alive and gives them like a personal flair that I can just enjoy while posing them and taking pictures of them to post on my Instagram, which you can check out the link below on that. The posability of the V2 Gundam is the same as the Earth 3 Gundam, and the forearm pieces, unfortunately, where they attach to the wrists on the Core Gundam, still tend to pop off sometimes during posing with the Gunpla. You get a lot of good range though on the arms with a good double bend at the elbows and several other features. The armored skirt pieces are also still a little too loose and have a tendency to pop off sometimes when positioning the legs, but you still get a great range of motion out of the legs thanks to the way they can be lifted up at the front. Since there are no side skirts, you can of course move the legs around with a great amount of freedom, allowing for some very dynamic poses, as you can see here. The feet are designed with heavily reinforced bases and spikes at the back to ensure stability, along with being able to absorb the recoil from firing all of its heavy weaponry. The V2 Gundam is a heavy fire support fighting machine designed for ranged combat with good mobility, intense firepower, and much heavier armor than the Earth 3 Gundam. So now, let's take a look at all the weapons it comes armed with on both the Gundam's body and the V2 support weapons backpack. The core beam sabers remain the same, but since the V2 Gundam has a higher output, the beam sabers are no longer restricted to the short blades that it's stuck with in the Core Gundam mode. With the full beam saber, it can easily slash through most mobile suit armor, and the Gunpla comes with the effect parts for the longer blades as well. Since the V2 Gundam is meant to be a fire support mobile suit, the beam sabers are only used when an enemy manages to get within melee range. Attached to the forearms of the V2 Gundam are armored 2-tube missile pods that fire medium-sized missiles designed for anti-mobile suit combat. While not as maneuverable as the smaller missiles, they carry a decent-sized warhead, making them able to deal good damage to any mobile suits that they hit. These missile pods are modeled very well on the Gunpla, and of course with the V2 Gundam, and because of how they are placed on the support flyer unit, they can be fired while the armor is mounted on that support flyer unit. The Big Beam Bazooka is a massive handheld weapon created by combining the heavy beam launcher parts with the Core Gundam's core spray gun. It has incredibly destructive firepower that can be used against heavily armored targets. Even high-speed distant targets will find it hard to avoid the blast thanks to the combination of the targeting sensor on the weapon and the enhanced sensors on the Veetwo Gundam's forehead. I really like that because it reminds me of the Dynamis Gundam's, of course, sensor unit that it has on its forehead for sniping. The parts for the big beam bazooka can separate into individual beam guns that can also be combined into other forms with themselves or using the core beam spray gun from one of your other Core Gundam Gunpla, as you can see here. I really enjoy the fact that you can do some incredibly cool combinations with them, and it makes it fun to have all the different Core Gunpla, so that way you can use the different parts in different configurations. Now, speaking of holding weapons, unfortunately the hands still tend to pop apart when I put the weapons in the grip, and something I hope that they fix on the Gunpla for second season of Gundam Build Divers Re. Mounted on the right hard point of the backpack is a 2-tube heavy missile pod that fires large missiles designed for combat against mobile armors and warships. Because of their large size, they cannot maneuver quickly, so they are not very well suited for combat against high-speed targets, but they can be used for area bombardment because of the large explosion radius. While the missiles in the tube don't come painted, I threw some red paint on them to represent the warheads in the tube, and while the pod itself can't rotate left or right, it can articulate some up and down and even rotate around to the other side. A rapid-fire capable large beam cannon is mounted on the left hard point of the backpack. Because of the high-efficiency barrel of the weapon, it can withstand rapid firing for an extended period of time. This, combined with the accuracy once again provided by the link between the sensor mounted on the weapon and the sensor suite on the forehead of the Veetwo Gundam, this allows it to hit targets with great accuracy. It has the same limited range of motion on it as the heavy missile pod, but I still love the detail on it and the shield on the side, a good addition to help protect it from counterfire. A single tube missile pod is built into the ankle guard of each leg that fires short-range anti-mobile suit missiles. While these missiles are not as powerful as the one mounted on the forearms, they can do a great deal of damage against weak points on mobile suits and lightly armored targets. They are reproduced on the Gunpla in a pretty good detail. They fold out to deploy just like in the show. They could use a little paint, of course, to help make the warhead stand out since they are just molded in straight plain white. Connected to the lower section of the backpack system is a pair of powerful hover units capable of granting the Veetwo Gundam hovering capabilities, and this applies to the Planet System Support Flyer as well. With these equipped, the heavily armored and weapon-loaded Veetwo Gundam can easily hover and perform evasive maneuvers to avoid enemy fire while keeping its targets at range. There's a lot of detail on them, and they can rotate as you can see here, so you can position them in different ways. The Veetwo Gundam is a beast of a heavy weapons mobile suit, and has easily made it into my top 5 Gundams of this type. It has great posability, and with the option parts you can easily add on other weapons to it. While the hands are still not the best, since they are standard size, most other Gunpla weapons will fit in them, adding to the fun of customizing the Veetwo Gundam. Even if you don't like the Gundam itself, you can get the Veetwo's weapons support unit by itself for around $10, and you can use it with some of your other high-grade kits. Or, if you like the Veetwo Gundam itself alone, you can pick it up and then easily use some other weapons or support weapons from other kits released by Bandai on it. There are plenty of Bandai support weapon kits out there. You can even use the 30-minute missions kits weapons on here too, which is very cool. I like that. So, in the end, I can highly recommend the Core Gundam G3 and its Veetwo Gundam mode as a great Gunpla kit. It's a fun build that results in a very fun Gunpla to play with, and it especially works out really well if you get the V2 support weapons pack to go along with it. If you want to pick one up, you can find them available at Hobby Link Japan, USA Gundam Store, along with a few other retailers online. I want to thank you all again for joining me here in the GKaiser Age. If you enjoyed this video, then target and fire at that like button to help the channel grow, and download your thoughts about it into a comment in the sections below. Also, don't forget to link up with the subscribe button and activate that bell icon if you want to be alerted by the YouTube early warning system when I upload videos so you can engage them right away. Also, don't forget to use the share system to data link the video to your friends and then dock the video into your favorite section. Check out the GKaiser Age playlist data files if you want to see more videos like this. But again, thank you for joining me here in the GKaiser Age. I will see you all again in the next Gundam Build Divers Re battle.